Yo, what's up guys? My name is Acapella. Today I'm bringing you guys another map positioning guide for Ana. Today we're looking at Ilios. Ilios is the last of the control maps actually. We've gone through all of them. So yeah, this is a pretty Lucio dive heavy map, but Ana's still very good on this map, so we'll kind of go over some different positionings you can play at, some different ways you can play against like snipers and standard comps, dive even. So yeah, we'll get right into it. We are starting with Lighthouse. Yeah, there's Lighthouse, Ruins, and Well. Yeah, Well. I got it right. I know all three of them this time. So we'll go ahead and get started here. So right away on Lighthouse specifically, fight usually breaks out here, here, and then sometimes inside. And then, with the potential to move into point here. So we're going to look at this bottom side here as our, as our side. You can flip it, mirror it for the other side. Control maps were made to be identical, so it's it should be an issue. So depending on where your team pushes from, that's going to be where your positioning starts at. If you guys come from the left here, your positioning is going to be like right around here, or here with this health pack, right around here. And that's for this fight, and then you can look to potentially push up to this corner as your team, as the fight develops. This will allow you to keep the cover and allow you to keep the LOS on your team. Same thing if you guys come from this bottom area, you can look to just walk over to this health pack, so you can play around that. Yeah, here specifically, if your team is fighting on the inside, otherwise health pack and right here, so you can see this main one. This is the big one right here. So circle it. This is like where the fight is 100% of the time, probably, or like 95% of the time, going to happen. So this is the one you have to worry about most. Will maybe transition to point potentially, and if that happens, you look to push up to this little corner area by the stairs, or even like through here to this corner, right? So if your team loses the fight, it's pretty much going to be the same thing. You have an option to play high ground here. If your team loses the fight and you're coming back, but that's up to you. If you're confident in your mechanics and your ability to hit shots while you're up there, go for it. Otherwise, otherwise just take the same routes depending on which way your team goes. If your team wins the fight, generally we're gonna see the team holding here. Right, this is generally where your team's going to be holding at. When that happens, you have two options. You can either hold here on point, or here on these stairs. Right. Obviously, the stairs is good, so you can have the ability to land antis on the enemy team, on your team, hit sleeps as well. But it does leave you open to this to this flank angle right here. So you just have to be very careful with playing here. You can also rotate between the two. You can maybe start point or go back to point as you need. But these two are generally going to give you the most cover, the most value on the enemy team. You don't really want to be playing over here, with the first spot, because that's it's really far away from point, and there's not a lot of cover. Obviously, just this middle thing is what's going to be providing you that cover. So it's not not necessarily the most ideal when you're holding a defense choke angle like this. So against snipers generally going to be looking to take angles here, here, and like, I guess maybe here. So just play with their LOS in mind. Here, I'll erase this actually. Yeah, you're going to want to be wanting to play with their LOS in mind. So you may not necessarily want to go here. That may not be the most ideal spot, just because you have to walk out in front of your right in front of their LOS. So more emphasis on this corner here. This is where you're going to be wanting to play, at least for the first fight. And then obviously this is like 100%. You do not want to play up top here either. Up top, you're just going to get your head taken off no matter where they're at. So right here, this is going to be your big one. And then if you win the fight and you're holding, just look to hold point here, either here or here. And these two doorways, obviously a little hard to see on the overhead map. but those two doorways are going to give you the most cover from, you know, this angle, and even this angle. So yeah, you don't really want to push up at all, because obviously if they decide to take this spot right here, they can just literally shoot down at you and kill you pretty easily. So bread and butter against snipers at least is going to be on point here and here. I will mention dive because it's a pretty popular comp on this map. You know, Winston, Diva, Tracer, whatever. I'll use it as standard as well. If the enemy team's running dive, look to play up high ground, definitely. Otherwise, look to play either on these stairs so you have a health pack, or over by this health pack. Okay, so that's going to be it for Lighthouse, and we'll move on to the second one. All right, so for our second point here, we have Well. You know, very notorious booping map, obviously, with the center area. Fights generally going to happen in two areas, here, or you'll kind of have like this stalemate where the two teams are kind of like staring at each other from opposite sides. But generally, it's going to be here, and then maybe like on health pack. But teams usually just like to go straight to point, especially in ranked and stuff like that. Stay hydrated, boy. All right, so we'll move on to standard here. So standard gonna be pretty basic, pretty straightforward. Just playing around that cover, playing around this this pillar, and then potentially this pillar. These are going to be your two big spots that you play from, and then maybe like this corner here. This whole this little corner area gives you a ton of value just because you have this health pack here. You have all this cover, and you have line of sight of pretty much the whole point, all while being relatively safe from the enemy team. Only thing you really have to worry about is this flank angle. Obviously underneath, my overhead map is a bit annoying. So like here, you have to worry about, but obviously, sound is in the game for a reason. You can most likely hear people coming, so you can look to land asleep onto them. If your team decides to go left side here, just playing around this wall or inside here, there's a health pack right here. Yeah, there's a health pack right here. So playing, in here once again gives you that a lot of value. And then if your team like pushes to point, you can look to play up to this corner, so that way you have this health pack as well to play around. And yeah, if you win the fight, if you lose the fight, it's going to be pretty much the same thing, just looking to push up once again. If you win the fight, teams don't like to go that aggressive on this point. Generally, people just like to stay on point. But like sometimes your team may push up to up here, and if that does happen, obviously just look to play around this pillar. So you have that LOS of the enemy team, while also being able to retreat when your team starts to get pushed. So we'll move on to snipers as well. I really should get a graphic for this. I want to keep writing it every single time. Scuff streamer, by the way. Anyway, snipers, we'll kind of talk about the couple angles that they take. Here's a big one. Up top here is, I'll get rid of this now that we're not using it. Up top here, and then obviously just like main here. And maybe even like here. There's a lot. But basically you're going to have a lot more emphasis on playing, depending on where they're at, you're going to have more emphasis on playing around these corners. This one right here is going to be your big one. Snipers especially love to take this angle top left here, right around here. That's going to be the big one that they can take. So playing around here, so you have that that cover that breaks their line of sight from you. And then obviously the reverse, you want to play here if they're playing like on this right side area, anywhere around here. And then if your team pushes left, obviously keep in mind where the enemy, where the players are at, where the snipers are at, and once again playing around these walls so you don't get your head taken off. Biggest thing is just having that awareness, thinking to yourself, okay, where's the sniper at, right? Because most of the time they'll probably be looking for you. So playing like a bit of mind games, right? So it's like, okay, I know he's peeking here. Let me play back a little bit so he can't see me, right? That kind of stuff. That'll pretty much be it for this map. Snipers aren't super common on it, so you don't really have to worry about it all that much. But you know, just in case you do run into it. Other thing, like our one extra thing that we'll mention here is in case you face a Pharah. Pharah obviously super popular on this map. Once again, just more emphasis down on this little spot over here. It gives you the most cover. You know, you have this giant windmill, I think it is, blocking you from a lot of her, you know, her splash damage shots. So yeah, that's going to be it for well. We will move on to the last one here. All right, we are on to the last one here, Ruins. Heavy sniper maps. This one's going to have a little bit more discussion on those snipers. But this one's very notorious for having those snipers, like I said. So just, you know, extra emphasis on playing around cover whenever physically possible. That's going to be the big ones for you. So we'll get started with our standard here. I have it bigger like this just because of the angles that snipers like to take, so I can show them off. But we'll start with standard real quick. We'll get that out of the way. Generally, fight's going to be looking to happen on point here, and then potentially left side. Usually left side for coordinated play, but point usually happens for like comp and stuff like that, and then even potentially here. So talk about standard real quick. Standard, if you're looking to fight on this left side, playing around this pillar here, it's kind of hard to see, but playing around this pillar here and here, as well as around this little stone thing, will give you that cover that you need while allowing you to, you know, have that line of sight with your team. If your team's fighting on point, look to either play on these stairs or play on the top of these rock things. I don't know what they're called, or at this corner. These are like, there's a lot here, so it's really going to be up to you and up to what the enemy has, depending on where you want to play at. Like if you see there's like a Doomfist or a Tracer coming on the left side here, then you may want to play in these stairs. Whereas if they have, you know, like a Kree or something, you may want to play on this left side instead. So, you know, try it out, or, you know, in your games, just try and figure out like, okay, where's the best spot for me to play at? You know, just experiment and learn. So, if your team loses the fight, pretty much the same thing. Take one of these angles as your team pushes in, even potentially here as well if you push in, so you get a line of sight on point. Actually, I'll erase this one. But yeah, right there. If you're looking to hold, generally teams will be holding either here at this, you know, entryway here, or here, right? Or obviously here. Excuse me. So when you're looking for that, look to play in these stairs here or on this left side. If you're playing the stairs here, you can look to retreat to point as your team gets pushed back. Obviously, if they're holding up here, you're gonna want to hold like there. But like as your team gets pushed back, look to retreat. Make sure you don't stick around too long. And you can even like go into this little cubby if it's not safe to go up the stairs here or up the ramp there. So yeah, this is another potential spot you can play at. But looking to play here and then backpedal as you need it. Even here, backpedal to the backside of the statue. Like I said, lots of places to play here. That's why Ruins is not fun. No one likes Ruins. So we're going to snipers. This is pretty much how you're going to want to play against with standard. Not a lot of different options anyway. There's not a lot of places you can play around with a health pack either, unfortunately, but that's just how it is. So we're going to talk about snipers here. Snipers are absolutely huge on this map, right? Obviously, up here, the big one, right? This is the widow spot. You know, someone says Ruins. Where's a widow going to be? Right here, right? Other one, right here. So the thing that sucks about this map is these two like power points give so much view of everything that it's really hard to play around, right? Because this one right here makes it so you can see all the point except for like, you know, the shadow that this pillar casts. Like here, I'll like draw it out. Like they can't see you like here ish, like in this little area, but otherwise they can pretty much see everything. So how are we playing around it, right? Well, guess what we're doing? We're playing around cover as usual. So First fight, when you're looking to push up, playing in this corner. Oh, I don't want black. I want blue. So, as we're looking to push up here, playing around this corner and then potentially moving up to this pillar or this statue. And playing around here just so you break that LOS from line of sight from this big sniper point, because they can't get here fast enough for it to matter. So this is like the big one that they're going to take right away. So just making sure that you're safe from that angle is going to be the big one for you, the big key for you. And then as you're, if you lose the fight, pretty much the same thing. Look to play around here again, no matter what. But if you win the fight, your team is looking to push up to these places again. Your pivot points here are going to be here and here, right? Or maybe even inside here. These are going to be your 3 pivot points that you have to play around, because obviously they can, if it's a widow, they can grapple up there, they can wall climb up there whenever. So, playing here so you can keep your team alive as they push up, and then, looking to push back to here. Because think about it like this, right? If they have snipers, they're most likely not going to have a ton of point presence, so it's okay to hold a position close like this, right? Obviously, if your team's getting pushed hard and you need to walk away, look to walk up to the statue here. But otherwise, just try and stick here and play around this as much as physically possible, because this is the biggest thing that'll break her line of sight. Playing up here, absolutely no go. Do not do it. You'll get destroyed every single time. Same with here, and then even sometimes on this right side if they decide to take this left angle. So yeah, once again, the common thing that I always talk about against snipers is just making sure you're keeping your making sure that you're breaking the LOS from them, right? Making sure that you're staying out of a place where they can kill you and keeping yourself in cover. That's going to be your big thing. Playing around this wall, playing around this inside wall, playing around this this wall on point, like just keeping yourself in a place that it stays safe from the enemy team and allows you to stay alive no matter what, right? I think that's going to be it then. Actually, I think it was a pretty short one. Runes is pretty straightforward. Obviously this one not so much, but the other maps are pretty straightforward. So yeah, that's going to be it from me, guys. Thanks for watching another guide. I hope you enjoyed. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, like, whatever, the whole shtick, everything. So yeah, have a good day, guys. I hope you enjoyed.